welcome to episode 4 live stream of Scotslam. Hope you're all well and staying right. We have myself, Greg Campbell, who you're probably all sick of seeing, Lewis Blackstock, Ryan, Liam, and our newest member, Michael. How are you all doing, lads?
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. Been absolutely brilliant. And like we were talking before there, you're our number one fan, so looking forward to another great
Fan stalker, so same really.
chat. WrestleMania week. WrestleMania week, we're all buzzing. All excited shows. The week started off with Monday Night Raw, the last show before WrestleMania. With the main man, Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre, kicking things off. Ryan, you've been impressed with the storyline with Lashley, and do you think the build up today has been good?
It's been a decent build up. Obviously they've had maybe like a couple of weeks to properly push it because he was feuding with Sheamus and whatnot. But I thought this week was a better build up than they've probably had, especially with their promos and whatnot. But it's one match of Mania. I'm actually looking forward to. Not because Drew's for obviously Scotland, but you know.
One of our own.
Aye, that's it. It's just,
Yes.
aye, our very, very own. And Michael, have you been impressed with just how well Drew McIntyre's kind of carried himself through WWE through this pandemic? He's gave us all a bit of hope, really, isn't he, throughout this whole time?
Aye, definitely. Like tuning into Raw, Drew McIntyre's like one of the people you're like most looking forward to seeing. And I think like I'm just actually really surprised at how well like he's been booked like throughout like his world title reign, like how strong he was booked against Brock Lesnar, and like the lead through that, like just how strong he looked every week on Raw. Like there's just nobody could touch him, and like even Bobby Lashley in this feud now, like Bobby Lashley's supposed to be this like dominating figure that everybody's maybe scared of, and he's getting a bounty out in Drew McIntyre's head. But I think he's been booked really well.
I know, I totally agree. I think as well, through all the kind of different pay-per-views who his face, as you're saying, like Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler and stuff like that, stars in their own right and kind of champions and stuff like that as well. So he's been really, really there, and to see him going in to defend the title again the next WrestleMania, or go for the title, sorry, has me just getting carried away hoping he's going to win. But he been the main event, it's absolutely... Aye. Well, that's it. Who are easy balls will be, do you know what I mean?
Be good if he actually gets a win this year, like and actually gets the pop for the fans. I think that'd be good.
It's well deserved, isn't it? It really is.
100%.
Aye, I think he's deserved. Aye. Liam, do you feel a bit Drew McIntyre out the equation, and I think Lashley kind of deserves more of a run? McIntyre does win the belt because he is a good champion when he is strong and he's really unstoppable at his best of his game.
I think some of the words that you used there, strong and unstoppable, were really evident on Raw. I think if you look at his match, he was the dominant force, he was powerful, he was always in control. Whereas Drew, although he's been strongly booked, you know, for the past year, as Ryan and Michael were talking there, his match was a 20-minute match against Baron Corbin, and there were long periods in that match where Baron Corbin looked dominant. It was much more equal. So I'm a bit less certain about the outcome at WrestleMania now than I maybe was a couple of weeks ago. I think Lashley definitely looked an awful lot more powerful, and I think Drew, although he looked strong, didn't look quite as dominant. I don't know if that's a red herring. I'm hoping it is. You know, that maybe setting Lashley up to still look strong and dominant despite a WrestleMania loss. But it'd be absolutely gutted for Drew if he doesn't get to, you know, to regain the championship when there's actually fans in the arena. Somebody had said earlier that they carried the WWE through the pandemic era. He definitely has, and I think that's his just reward would be to get the strap when there's fans in the arena. I would love to see that.
Oh, 100%. And I think if it wasn't for who it was and any other person, I would be quite happy to see Lashley being a champion, because I think I'm quite a big fan of Lashley as well, and what he's kind of becoming. And touching on that, Lewis, we'd kind of seen Lashley before, the kind of business with Lana and stuff like that, and he wasn't really properly getting used, in my opinion, to what he should be. So is it quite impressive to see the influence that MVP has had on Bobby Lashley?
As touching on the Lana situation, we'll not go dive into that too much, but there's another certain member attached to that, obviously, who's no longer with the company, but we'll get that another day. But I would say he probably has been. MVP's brought him up. Good manager, to be fair. I personally prefer to see him in the ring, to be fair, but I know, fair enough, right now he's got the injury and stuff like that he's carrying, or supposedly carrying. I think it is supposed to be a genuine one, so fair enough. They've put him on the kind of sideline still now, but he can still do it himself. But I do like the manager side of him. I think it is good. They bounce off each other quite well. But I was hearing that there was talks that Vince McMahon didn't like the storyline anymore, and that's why they're possibly going to be ditching it, and that's why they broke up the Hurt Business to this degree so far. And if that is the case, I think it's quite poor for Vince, if that is the case. But overall, I'm not really caring if Drew McIntyre walks out as champion. I probably won't really give a toss, but it was good to see that they actually kind of listened to them for once and gave them what they deserved, and to have that group together. And it was a good group, way better than the other groups, especially with the Retribution group. Just there's no answers to that. We've been trying to delve into that for weeks, and there's nothing. And I don't think we're ever going to get any answers at all for that, to be honest. But he's doing good. But he's had feuds with Drew as well, and previous companies as well, and it was a good feud then as well. So they're only going to build upon that and make it 10 times better, I think.
Aye, and they've definitely set it up to be a crack match. I think we kind of seen before the matches that Lashley and McIntyre have had in the past as well. It's just going to be an all-out war as well, and I think, as we say, that kind of touched on as well how he's carried the company through the pandemic and stuff. He's just rewards as to want and win the title, and it's weird whole case. But still, just McIntyre, I think Liam had King Corbin. I don't know what you thought just in terms of that match, but I was probably most impressed I've seen with Corbin in a long time. I thought it was probably matches and ages.
Oh God, definitely. This way she's dropped this fucking King Corbin gimmick. Like it was better when it was a lone wolf kind of, fucking like coming in and just like being himself. But it was definitely best I've seen him. I'm got the controversial and say I kind of like him. Just like he's in ring ability's got a lot better from when he was in NXT. But I just wish he'd aim like something different instead of fucking King Corbin. God, he can be fucking so much better than what he is.
Aye, it's kind of same old, isn't it? And you see it, and I don't know, yourself when he comes out with that, like used to come out with the crown this night, there was one point at the chair and sitting over it like that. It's just no what for me. It's just
just fucking drop it and move on. Come on.
Aye, he's so much better. I mean, that's like something. I mean, anyway,
just want
to
minutes to talk about that.
I don't say you're sure.
But do you think Mikey Corbin deserves a chance to try and face one of the champions, how he gets on and have that kind of championship match? Because he's been in there often, he's proven himself, in my opinion, so surely deserves a shot.
Aye, definitely. It definitely, as Ryan was saying, though, he needs to get that King gimmick to, man. Like, it's just like for for the entrance music, like how it starts off like his old entrance music and then just delves into that like royal push. It just it annoys me every time I hear it. It's just as I said, right? But I think like his in-ring ability has just improved so much. Like from when he's been in the company, and I always love that wee move that he did, like when he's going into the corner and he just slides at the ring, grabs onto the post, dives back in the bottom rope. I think that's just like this. He's the only it's the only person I've ever seen like do something like that. I could be wrong, but just like wee things like that, I think that in his work rate is just, as I said, it's improved like so much that I think maybe after WrestleMania, like he does deserve maybe a title shot. Like maybe that's why they're putting him in this picture with like Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, because it just seems a bit kind of almost insulting, really. Like that he's not in a feud at WrestleMania, like that he's just almost kind of like a sideshow to the main event.
Aye, definitely. It was a surprise to see him come in. Obviously, when you seen he was facing Mac, you thought it would be a really, really good match, as it was, but McIntyre would just came out on top. Kind of thing. So, as you said, it just be so many card, man. I think we've kind of spoke about before. You're like, well, there is better superstars. It can be. Is there any kind of point to see Corbin face, Liam? I know
I think it will depend what happens with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We've spoken about this last week. I think he's one of the favourites to win it. I think that even more positively now, because he did look really strong against McIntyre. Nobody who's won that Battle Royal has really gained any momentum from it yet. So I would quite like to see him maybe winning it and using that to then, carry something solid forward on. I'm different to you, Greg. I don't find him particularly interesting. I don't find anything that they've done with him that's worked really well. I can see he's quite a good in-ring technician. I've seen some content on, some of the YouTube videos where he saved people from injury. He's obviously a solid in-ring worker, and alert and bright and smart. But what they've done with him so far, I don't think it's really worked for me. He's not somebody that I find captivating. I don't really look forward to any of his matches. There's nothing that he's been involved in, that I felt like I wanted to champion him and advocate for him to be given a solid spot. I can see, that he's good in the ring, but I definitely don't feel the same way about him as I do for maybe a Cesaro.
I know, I definitely agree. Some of your points there, and I think as well, touch on Michael saying, like, these in-ring moves and stuff, I think that's probably excites me the most. Again, I touched on it, the character and stuff like that, that seems to be the big issue. Don't get me wrong, or sometimes I've kind of quite liked and I like the kind of arrogant side to him and the kind of the cheek he's got and stuff, but then, just as you say, it doesn't seem to really go anywhere, which is a shame because he deserves better, but no, Lashley and McIntyre is absolutely brilliant. Corbin just got to intervene, deep six, pin the two of them, shock is off, give it with the belt.
Baron Corbin become the new Daniel Bryan.
Moving on.
Triple threats.
Just appear everywhere. Have you seen all the stuff? Just like pictures and gifs and all that with Daniel Bryan just appearing. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
The new John Terry.
Oh, it's so good. But no, that'll be great. Other matches as well. Xavier Woods, AJ Styles. A tag team match like the New Day versus Omos and Styles. Match itself I thought was quite short. It's the kind of much in it. I think it was more just kind of build up and seeing Omos kind of get more involved. I think everybody's just watching to see what he's kind of going to do. Do you think, Brian, that Xavier Woods was good throughout the match? Do you think kind of got the better of AJ Styles?
I think Bafrin put on what I saw performance for how short the match was. Well, best bit of the match for me was seeing Kofi Kingston throw a mic at Omos. That's fucking hilarious. Just fucking. I think he missed him with that as well. That was hilarious. I can actually see AJ and Omos kind of winning at Mania, just for the fact that like the built up. It's almost his first match. They don't know how he's got to be. You know what I mean? I can see him just being like a Braun Strowman like character, just come in, like very empowering, take over the match, like manhandle Kofi and Woods, and maybe even just pin the both of them.
Definitely could see that happening, especially with the size almost, man. I think we spoke about him before. He just got that look about him, just absolutely frightening, man. And I love that as well. You say with the mic, man, that was just pure comedy gold. So it's just fantastic. You're saying there about Austin and AJ Styles winning. Absolutely brilliant. Just power of positivity. But Xavier Woods and Kofi are just a great team, and well, not only they kind of bring the personality outside the ring. I love it. So yes, brilliant.
Got to represent.
But they're just a great tag team, aren't they? They're brilliant. Aye, absolutely fantastic tag team. Take it you've always been a big fan of them, Michael.
Aye, definitely. Like when me and Liam went with Dallas to WrestleMania to see them, and literally that's all I was looking for was the Bootios box just to to get to see them. I love them, and I'm just getting into the New Day podcast as well. Just love everything they do, man.
They're just so funny.
Michael cut about Dallas with a unicorn.
Yeah, why not?
Cut that bit like a proper Gavin Hartman.
Still larger.
That's straight up your
unicorn horns. You know they don't exist, Greg. Just like your 54 other titles.
Yes.
Time to bring it in. There we go.
Fucking
What's
shot there.
We talk on?
Actually, missed it was so short. The match that by the time I'd went to the fridge for a beer and spoke to my cat in the hall and came back in, it was done. I had to rewind it. I thought two really talented guys the week before WrestleMania showcase their talents. I want to see AJ Styles. I want to see him fighting. I want to see Xavier Woods. That's an interesting match to have on the card for it to end in a small package really quickly. I thought that they could have built up the excitement for WrestleMania and what's to come a wee bit more effectively than that. So I was kind of disappointed. I love those two guys. I think the New Day are fascinating. But I think give them a wee bit more. It's not like the rest of Raw was mind-blowingly exciting. That they had to cut that one really short. So I was a bit gutted.
As you say, two of the best in the business that there is. You need to really go and show their talent. It was a few wee moments, Lewis. I think it was like AJ Styles had applied like the calf crusher, but there was only 3 signs. The two of them are capable of, and then to end up wasn't, and that was it. It's a bit frustrating.
Plenty of interruptions over the past couple of weeks as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of interventions as such as well. I don't know if it was just a microphone just combusting in the air, but still counts as some sort of interruption, I guess. Pissed off almost. So what? But it was.
That's what I was throwing at Liam.
Tactical weapons enough.
Listen, maybe they've had the right idea. Maybe that just giving us a little taster is might have made me more excited for WrestleMania and more interested. You know, they haven't exhausted any possibilities. They're not going to be repeating anything or much of what they did in the ring. So who am I to question? I'm a billionaire sitting in America who knows what he's doing. You know, I'm looking forward to the match. So, you know, maybe they've done it for the right reasons.
Totally agree with that, to be fair.
I know, I think so as well. I think I was saying there was like the last, I think there's like 3 losses in 3 weeks, I think, for AJ Styles. But I think that it's been a part to play almost up as well, because I think all the fascination is kind of how he's going to perform and what he's going to do and stuff like that. Still hope he loses, opinion, but anyway. Aye, so that's him. Big Omos. He'll just in top 9. Ryan had kind of touched on. And another storyline that I'm kind of disappointed in was Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon. He kind of spoke about it loads before it as well. When you predicted it weeks and weeks before he even started talking about it, that it was going to happen. And you were right, but I just don't know what you think. It's just in general about obviously Shane McMahon getting in touch with like Elias and Riker. That's a bit, I don't know, that's just a bit random for me.
Everything about this is a car crash for me. all for what really is a Daily Star headline, a Brain versus Braun. It's ridiculous. We're expected to believe that Braun Strowman was bullied growing up. What size were the other guys in his high school? No, there's nothing about this.
I wrote that in my notes.
Unbelievable. Even if Braun Strowman utterly destroys Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, there'll be kids sitting at home watching it who've been called stupid, who feel stupid, who've been put down and criticised and made to feel small. And that can't really be comfortable viewing for a storyline, particularly when they're aiming, you know, largely for a PG market. It just seemed like a cruel storyline for not much of a payoff. Obviously, you're hoping it sets him up for a Braun Strowman win, but who's that surprising? You know, why lead up to a storyline like that? You know, when actually, without this storyline, that's quite a good match to look forward to. Shane McMahon, Braun Strowman, you know, could create hell at WrestleMania. But I think the storyline leading up to this is watered that down. It's undermined it rather than really sold it for me.
I would agree with it. It's kind of like, it's as if they're just trying to fill time in it.
Aye.
They're kind of just like, but another thing is, why a steel cage match? Why not Hell in a Cell? The only reason in my head they're not doing Hell in a Cell is because that's typically what Shane McMahon likes to jump off of. And he's not really often jumped off a steel cage into the ring. So I suppose they just went, right, let's just cut a tap off, call it a steel cage match. But how does that help him in the ring, really? Why would Braun, I know it's supposed to be the whole stupid thing, but you're clearly going for a Hell in a Cell. Do you mean to stop them coming in? Because let's face it, Elias and Riker are going to come down anyway. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's not going to not use his powers to win that. But like you say, Liam, I don't see us going anywhere. What does the win get him? Nothing. It really doesn't get him anywhere. It doesn't push him on to anything. Doesn't give us any indication to where he's going. Personally, if you scrap the whole Shane McMahon thing, if you gave him to somebody else, another kind of feud, I would have loved to have seen Braun versus Omos. 2 gladiators going together, 2 giants, something we've not seen for a wee while now. I think last time your giants are really gone. Do you know what I mean? Your big shows and all that, they're all jump ship, as so to speak. But they 2 certainly, I know, almost quite fresh, but I mean, they could have built something easily up to then, but they've chosen to go a different direction, which is just fair enough. But an odd one, but there you go.
Aye. And in this day and age as well, there's what we're saying, like PG Mark, you're saying, I mean, in the way you're going to things that could easily to people before the whole, it's just gradually getting worse every week. You know what I mean? There's been I honestly just don't get it. Elias and Riker, then he's a fan.
I like Elias. I don't really like Riker's a bit like. I think they could build Elias up better. They've tried it many a time and it just gave up him. I like the whole performance side of things. They go out and he gets interrupted all the time, but they could really turn him into a good heel, and they've just no bothered after that. Now they've stuck Riker with him, who was part of a trio himself, and we don't know what the story is behind that, what they've fucked off to. So I don't know what the story is with that either. There's no explanation to how the two of them have been paired together. It's just all of a sudden it's on TV and then that's you. You've just got to believe they're a duo now, and it's just a bit odd. But Elias deserves better, I think, personally. Riker I don't know enough about, but I know he was part of what looked like it could have been a good trio, a good heel trio, when they were also rocking on NXT, but they've just again killed that one where it stood.
I see if it built up maybe Strowman versus Elias, instead of Strowman versus Shane McMahon. I think they could have done like a lot of that, especially having Riker to back up Elias as well.
Aye.
I mean, I think Strowman versus Elias in the steel cage is more appealing than Strowman and Shane McMahon in the steel cage.
I'd agree with that.
See, even just to think, like we were talking earlier about like the main event situation and Baron Corbin being like a third wheel, even Baron Corbin could be involved in a feud with Braun Strowman. I think even Baron Corbin might be more believable, like they could beat Braun Strowman in a feud, like because Braun Strowman just like when he first like came in with the Wyatt family, like I thought like he was green as all like get out, but like you knew like if he's got Bray Wyatt there and Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, like there's good people around him there that is going to be there to teach him like coming up through the business. And now like when he was on his own, like I thought there was so much potential for him. Like I was a big fan of Braun Strowman, and now just to see him like, I mean I know that it's PG and it's for kids kind of like in certain aspects and stuff like that, but just completely destroys his character when he's coming out with a big fucking choo-choo noise like at the start of his entrance. Like does he think like we might think that he thinks he's a fucking train and like it's so disappointing to see like so much potential go to waste. And like Shane McMahon, like this whole feud is built over like someone calling him stupid. Like to think the right like how much the writers must get paid to think call him stupid, that'll get him annoyed enough to win a match at WrestleMania. It's baffling to me.
It's just
Mm-hmm.
try too hard, do you know what I mean? It's used to it.
Sorry, Greg, when you go.
I know. Just,
I don't know if everything's secret through floor you, mate.
So much.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I know.
But just to what Michael was saying, I've always been a big fan of Braun Strowman as well. It's just so better. Like even if they're not even going to give him a match at WrestleMania, let's see all this stuff with the Fiend and all that now, and Alexa Bliss, it could have been used even more in that sense. Still, do you know what I mean? Coming back in with it through, and it's kind of relatable. But he's just honestly, you're like, he's for such a big guy and such. What we're to believe is a monster among men, do you know what I mean? And to then just look pathetic. You're like, as far and come up with so much better.
Sorry, just imagine like you're sitting down with somebody who's never watched wrestling before, and you're trying to get them into it. You're like, Monday Night Raw will be decent, and all you hear is whoop whoop. Like, what is this? Why am I watching this?
What makes it worse is why did they time it for his move? I mean, look, the entrance fair enough, like, you could maybe get away with that, but the whole putting the hand up in there and then it just goes again. You're like, what the fuck? Wait, it's in the middle of a match.
I know.
Putting out sound effects. It's like, what's the point in that? You know what I mean, there's nobody there to react either. He's screaming. I mean, we'll not get into the whole stuff. We'll talk probably more about that, the Hall of Fame stuff. You know what I mean? The piped in noises and stuff. But it's the fact that who's reacting to that? Nobody's reacting to it unless the world's biggest Thomas the Tank Engine fans there. Honestly.
That is mental that they've banned the wrestlers for slapping their thighs when they're kicking, because that's not believable. But they allow that. I get he's supposed to be the Strowman Express. You know, we get the link, we know what they're trying to do. I actually love it when he runs round the ring, knocking people on their arse. But the train thing is a bit unnecessary.
But you can only hope that'll be a good match. All that rubbish is finished and the talking stops. So, I mean, I'm sure the two of them will actually put off a good match, because it'll just show their thing about Shane McMahon as well, used to be stuff and all that. An interesting one. It just kind of came about to another interesting one. I don't like talking about him, but I'll talk about my Bad Bunny. Aye, what a character he is.
I know. Fucking
Bad Bunny.
forgot it existed.
Skip it and you're talking about it, mate. I guarantee you, you're not listening to Bad Bunny. You're listening to Bad Bunny.
Yeah, because he's a banger with her.
I agree.
But the respect him here, obviously he's moved. I think he moved the area, and he's been in the performance centre, I think, for months now, trying to change. So he's obviously committed. So I suppose you can't take that away for the guy, and he's brought kind of that to WWE. And he's, to me, with him, the storyline in Miz, it's actually been really good. It's actually quite relatable, having in a way. Bunny, Damien Priest seem to work really, really well. Do you think Bad has got some in-ring ability and some moves, or do you think he's just going to come in and it's just going to be?
Come on, Greg. I could be in a recording studio for 9 months. It doesn't make me Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh. See, who was the big celebrity? If Tyson Fury can do it, surely Bad Bunny will be all right. I mean, I could be wrong.
But maybe it's still a good chance against the guitar, I think. Considering it's the first guitar I've never seen smash over somebody's back. Is it that solid that it just doesn't break? I don't know.
The only good thing I think about that storyline evolving from Raw is that Damien Priest involved in it now, and I'm looking forward to out the four of them. He's the one that holds the most intrigue for me. So at least Damien Priest involved for WrestleMania. You know, if nothing else could come out it, you know, if we're not believing that a water-based paint really done damage to that car or anything, then at least Damien Priest involved at WrestleMania.
Did you quite like see when he?
I know.
Sorry. I see when he destroyed his big guy by that water-based paint, but didn't he want to destroy it enough that he'd fling him on top of that? Just the car that's just nicely beside that.
I like Morrison. Morrison, I always like seeing Morrison perform as well. I think his in-ring ability as well is just off the scale for me. I mean, some of the moves he pulls off, him getting older and stuff as well. So I think getting him in. What do you think? Miz and Morrison's wee song, is it a wee catch on Bad Bunny or?
It's on Spotify and everything. Aye, I'd take it. There's two versions as well, Greg. You get a choice, mate.
Oh, fuck. There you go.
It's definitely better than Bad Bunny's Booker T.
Ho. I'll not have a bad bit about that song.
It, though.
It's going to be match. I think it's one of the ones as well where you can just sit back and enjoy and get a good laugh at. And no take serious, but Bad Bunny, man. Honestly,
the Miz and Morrison are good.
I don't know why I mentioned it. Like the Lewis.
Aye.
You'll be talking about it after WrestleMania, mate. Don't you worry.
That's it, yeah. But I don't think Miz gets enough credit for the stuff he's did as well. When he kind of helped make last the champion and all that one about the ring. Yeah, actually was really, really talented. I mean, he's creative. He's actually really good. Certainly, he can access. But yeah, dafty. But he's actually quite clever, a bit like myself.
You're not acting like dafty, Greg.
I was waiting for it. Since moving on, I probably kind of more serious story. One of the matches for me that actually could steal the show at WrestleMania. We seen Oscar team up against Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. Actually, quite a good match. I thought it was good to see. I think we spoke about the precast, but then some kind of not having a leg fit and the reasoning behind it. But the match actually went quite well, I think, Brian. But I actually like Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler as a tag team.
Aye, so did I actually. Well, carrying the titles yourself, and really they don't have much competition. They've done well to kind of keep the belts week in, week out, always kind of appearing. So they've done well in that aspect. But I think Asuka Ripley's got to be a fantastic match. I like how they're building Rhea as the kind of heel. I think being a heel kind of suits her character. It suits her entrance music as well. It's good to actually see Ashley Costello as well. Got to perform it live. That
was it.
Fantastic to see.
Yeah.
And I better keep saying nice stuff about Rhea Ripley, or my wife will punch me.
I will tell you if you hurt
I'm got to pick Rhea Ripley for the win.
It was quite good, Michael, right enough to see build the tension still with Oscar in it and push her off the ropes and then kind of say I'm ready for Oscar and stuff. It's my time and all that. I think it could be her time. I don't know what you think yourself, but I think she might win the belt.
Aye, definitely. I hope so, because they've built her really well, and just the comparison to the way Rhea Ripley's acting, just she seems a bit more dominant. When you compare it to the SmackDown Women's title feud with Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, that just isn't it. I mean, I'm looking forward to the match. Don't get me wrong, but just the build seems to be a bit kind of iffy with that. But with Asuka and Rhea Ripley, I'm really, really looking forward to that match. I think just the wee bit at the end, because I hate to see that just before WrestleMania, or just before even any big title match, and you see the champion and the number one contender in the same team with each other, and you're like, don't do that. But just to see it at the end, just to give a wee push off the ropes, yeah, I was planning for that. Yeah, dafty. I quite like that.
Aye, no, that certainly was good. And can I leave us a wee bit out for you, Liam? I know you always like to get Natalia and Tamina, and we see the different tag teams and stuff. After now, but they're dudes with every other tag team, and they're going to come nowhere near winning it, and they're going to put the pictures.
I thought that was a mess, that argument. I thought it was an unnecessary riot. It was confusing and irritating and everything that I didn't like about the old, kind of a Divas Championship era stuff. I thought they could have sold that better. I think people like Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley have got real credibility. And I think, for me, the enjoyment is about them being credible athletes and great in-ring performers. And you've seen that with Charlotte Flair and Bayley and Sasha. So I would quite like to have seen this, this match set up with the same kind of credibility. And that, that kind of promo after the match kind of ruined it for me. It left me less excited about it than more. Obviously, love Natalia, and I found a way to wedge it into a conversation, but I would have rather it was I'd rather I had something more positive to say than that.
Aye, and I think for me that I felt the exact same. It wasn't great. It was confusing. He appeared, do you know what I mean, and I could know them all and stuff like that. And it's always great seeing her, do you know what I mean? So that was brilliant as well. And I'm still gutted that she's not any part in WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean? That's just what is. They've not done right.
She better be some point.
Leaving her out. I don't get it. at all. It's honestly a mess. But do you think, Lewis, like, Oscar's she held the title for a while now, but she's I feel that with injuries and stuff in her run, she's not maybe the fairest opportunities, I suppose. So could argue you're a bit harsh for her to lose with.
I know. She did earn the title, obviously, when it came to the Money in the Bank situation, but we all knew that was planned because of scenarios. But Rebecca Lynch obviously got due to leave, obviously, with the pregnancy, but not to say she didn't deserve it, she did, because obviously she was probably second to Becky Lynch at the hardest worker, probably at the time, on that brand. But I think it probably is time. I think not only Raw, but SmackDown as well, it's time for some new women to take the kind of top spots, bring in some new, fresh meat, as so to speak, and kind of just get some more rivalries going. I want to see some more tag team stuff getting brought in. I want to see that what they've done in NXT. I want them to bring that up to Raw and SmackDown properly, not just having one tag team. I can't keep stressing this enough. They need to have separate ones. I don't know why they're just sticking with the one. It doesn't make sense to float them about. Fair enough if they're thinking they've not got enough people, but it's not hard for them to bring people up, and there's plenty of people down in NXT that they can bring up right now. But it's overall for this match, Rhea Ripley deserves it. She 100% deserves it. I just think she's got the right attitude. She's brutally, ready for it, and I don't think it matters if she's heel or babyface. You're going to cheer for her, to be honest with you.
Aye.
I think Lewis is right about the fresh meat for the singles competition, but definitely some old meat for the tag teams.
I just Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon should just win the match. NXT tag team. Other ones.
You'll get your wish, Greg, one day, definitely.
Sorry, pod. You know what I mean? Find a way.
We got to NXT yet, so.
I know. But no, moving on, I had for Raw was Matt Riddle, Mustafa Ali. It's good to see. It was touched on earlier on about Retribution. Ali kind of away for that now and just kind of his own kind of that can just kind of go out there and facing the best and none of this kind of carry on that never it. But you've got to love Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's just brilliant, as we've seen his wee scooting about the place. Can't he back? Superb. Again, I thought the match itself was what the two of them really showed off their talents. Again, it was a longer match for me. It really showed Ali for how good he is. Surely he has to behold that title soon.
He definitely deserves a spot at Mania. I think, if anything, this Raw felt like it was a Raw 4 weeks into the build up for the road to WrestleMania. It didn't feel like the Raw before Mania. I actually feel really sorry for Mustafa Ali because I think he came out of this match looking great. I thought Riddle looked brilliant. Loved everything about the pace of the match. But I feel really sorry for Ali that he's got nothing at the end of this. I think he's deserved more. Everything that I feel about Ricochet, I feel about Ali as well. I love watching these guys. I want to see more of them. I know not traditional WWE guys, but they're fascinating for me. Now that he's away from Retribution, and after the big split last week, you thought if they're going to do anything with Retribution going forward, they should have followed that up this week. But it just felt like an empty vacuum. And even after a good match, you think, well, that's good. It set Riddle up well, getting in for his match at Mania. But Ali's got nothing out of it.
Aye, and he certainly deserves more. But Michael, I mean, such a great group, weren't they? So still good. Yeah.
I miss light shows while I'm watching my wrestling. I don't know about yours. People were about thumping the ring. That's magic. Get them back together.
But Best faction.
Shows you how Riddle's been impressive, hasn't he?
Riddle,
been really impressive. I mean, if just coming in to know where he's at, how far he's actually come on and stuff, it's been amazing to see him.
I'm a big fan of Riddle, man after my own heart. Loves a bit of botany. And just as it. What? But I just to see the way he progresses in the ring week after week, he's getting better. Even just like that wee botch they had the other week, like just like it's almost just like it's part of his character. It's just it's fine. Doesn't matter. Just take it in his stride. I think he's brilliant.
It's interesting though that Bird's coming out his flip flops, doesn't he? Annoy you the same way that a train noise annoys you for strolling.
I'm alright for visuals. The sound effects that annoy me. I mean, alright, to be
but
fair,
no,
it's
great right to see Sheamus kind of. That's true. That's true. It's just that added with the Birds. It's like just describes Riddle, but I think he's just that kind of random, out there, kind of unique character. So it kind of works well for him.
Maybe he's just hanging about in the back with
It just looks silly.
I know. And maybe he's just hanging about in the back, sharing some of his special treats with the production crew. They've just fucking went mental.
You can tell Greg's done his equality and diversity training when we've got a ginger guy in the podcast this week who's kidding on it like Sheamus.
Oh, I've just about to speak about. Aye, but no, Sheamus, I think we spoke about before how well he's done. Wish him all the best at WrestleMania, right? But I do hope Matt Riddle absolutely knocks the deal out of something, to be honest with you.
I know. It was I'd have preferred to see him in a match, but it's good to see him in commentary at least. You know, you can still hear his fucking beautiful Irish voice. You know what I mean? Just fucking talking nonsense. But I think that match at Mania will be very, very good. I'm in the same boat. I want Riddle to win, but I hope Sheamus puts in. Well, don't say hope. Hope he puts in. You know he's got to put in a fucking great performance. But I think it could be a match that could steal WrestleMania. Never know.
Aye, I think the way Sheamus has been, how well he did in the amount of brawls he's been in with like McIntyre and stuff. I mean, he's been one of the best wrestlers in the ring recently. Aimed for his standard that he seems to kind of compete with. It's just always at a high level. So no, it'll be absolutely brilliant. I think it will be a fantastic match. I've heard the main points of Raw, unless there was any other interesting bits. I think that was kind of the main. As you said, didn't you feel it before WrestleMania? So I think that's how it kind of just feels like. No.
It was better than last week, though. You've got to say that. I mean, it definitely was better than last week.
Agreed.
It wasn't the best last week. We also skipped over that one in the podcast, which we'll also about soon. That saved us a wee journey. One thing I would say though about one of the matches, though, I would say like fair enough. You've seen kind of cracks in it. See the Ali kind of match. It kind of flashed me back when you're seeing kind of cracks of these good moves and these kind of good combinations and stuff. Where it flashed me back to 205 Live. I didn't watch that religiously at all, but I did see the match against Murphy, and I think that was one of the best 205 matches I think I've ever seen. It was just phenomenal. The high flying with both of them, to be fair. I just don't know why they're holding them back when it comes to kind of the terms of the moves. Maybe this is going to be his next path. Maybe they're going to just push him now. They're pushing Apollo Crews and whatnot on obviously SmackDown, so maybe Ali's going to get let loose some more high flying things. I think him maybe versus Ricochet for a title would be interesting if maybe one of them can pick up some gold. Hopefully it's on the way. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll steal the gold off Riddle. Who knows? Maybe we're going to get a shock.
Aye, no, that would be certainly interesting. Aye, definitely out there. We says as well, he's got the ability to really push that, and hopefully now that he's away for the rest of the week, he kind of go there. But final row before so Juicy a lot better than last week, and the match is absolutely brilliant. We could kind of continue into Tuesday. 2021. A lot of I think we kind of some maybe more deserving than others, but all kind of in there. And congratulations to them all. I think a few, but I don't know. I like John Bradshaw Layfield. I think it's only touching that we start with him.
Dun, dun.
No, what I think for what I noticed when he was like, I thought his speech was really good, but I think the kind of main point that came for me and was probably the most touching was his kind of talk about Eddie Guerrero and his influence on him and stuff like that, and how it just kind of helped his career. And he says I wouldn't be a JBL for Eddie Guerrero. So that was incredible to see. Have you noticed the impact that JBL talking about that Eddie Guerrero did have on JBL's career?
Oh God, definitely. I think his feud with like Guerrero kind of showed just how good that JBL it actually was. I mean, but and it was with the acolytes and then APA, and like we're coming in having maybe 10-minute matches, just like fucking goes over hell, boom, that's him done, won. But to have like solid 30-40 minute matches with, I mean, like the Big Show, John Cena, Eddie Guerrero, it showed how good a technical wrestler he actually was.
Aye, and you kind of see that because a lot of the time, obviously, he was so good on the mic as well. I thought like he's brilliant. He's just kind of arrogant nature that he had and stuff as well. I never seen a lot of his time. I think it was before he kind of became JBL in the protection agency. Liam Dewar, kind of remember him that time before he actually kind of went on to be John Bradshaw Layfield.
Greg, you'll get a slap in the mouth, son.
Calling us old, Liam.
I loved APA. I couldn't wait to see them, in some sort of vignette or promo, sat at the card table. Absolutely loved Ron Simmons. The guy was fantastic. Them both together were phenomenal. But again, JBL's one of these guys that they were able to sustain a long career. People like him, like Kane, they had to adapt. Drew McIntyre's done it. He's come back with a completely different persona. These guys have had to, vary their output. And I think JBL's a prime example of that. He's able to kind of metamorphosize into something else to open up a different kind of career. Seeing Kane at the Hall of Fame with Daniel Bryan and and kind of remembering some of the comedy moments that they had, I'm the tag team champions and all of that stuff, and hug it out and all that stuff, really, really funny. And I think that's the measure of a career that lasts long, that people are still interested in. That you can diversify, you can show different sides to a character, and JBL's a prime example of that. He'd much more success coming out as JBL than he ever did, before that, and that's testament, I think, to some of the input he had from career professionals like Eddie Guerrero. The guy was a genius inside the ring and outside the ring, and I'm glad that JBL reflected that, because it's a source that you might not expect. You'd expect people like Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio, Perry Saturn and folk like that to big up Guerrero, but to hear it from JBL, you know, it showed real class and humility.
And I think as well, Michael touching on like his speech, I think how much he was heavily kind of involved in like tribute to the troops as well. So obviously we've seen that kind of side to him in the ring, but it just shows you the type of character as well that he was actually outside the ring, and he was able to kind of bring that into WWE.
Definitely. I mean, like you see, like the tribute to the troops shows, like you see like the wee vignettes, like when they go through the troops, and you see how much it means to them. And if that, like, I never actually knew that was JBL that like that all came from. And if it was, then like, you know, fair play. You know, I've heard some, you know, things like at ACW One Night Stand with the Blue Meanie, things like that. It was a bit not so nice, but to see that, like, you know, that might just be just being a bit of a dick and just punching somebody, to know that, like, out with that, like, he is a genuinely good human being, like, that would like have like causes like that, and he's that are close to his heart.
And obviously Lewis being a champion as well, being a WWE champion and tag titles, that he, all that kind of persona and kids obviously led to have success in the business as well.
It wasn't kind of touched upon when Cena came up, calling him, you know, this kid John Cena. Obviously, I think John Cena that was an echo throughout the whole night, to be fair, because it wasn't the only person to mention John Cena. Obviously, Nikki Bella mentioning him as well, but obviously for different reasons, I guess. But John Cena, that was one of my favourite feuds with JBL and him. Obviously, the Crime Time, we spoke about that recently as well. It's always been one that stuck there, but I love the APA clips. You'd always see them sitting playing poker and, you know, smoke cigars and stuff like that. And I think that was all brilliant. And obviously, both characters and themselves. I mean, like, even Ron Simmons, you know, kind of created himself into something fair enough, more comedic, I suppose. In a sense, it's like the Ron Simmons of that era in a way. But it can still live. That's the thing. It's just a bit like the NWO as well. When we want to talk about them, it's like these are the kind of gimmicks that don't get old, and you don't really get that anymore. I mean, how quickly things move these days. You don't see a gimmick sticking around in WWE. That's kind of just started recently. You don't really see them sticking about. Like we've seen New Day. They're probably one of the ones that you would say stuck around the longest, but they're moving them on now as well. Fair enough, for obviously other reasons, because they have potential as singles as well. But they could have kept them going for long as well, and I don't think anybody would get bored. But JBL, the tag team in the APA, I thoroughly enjoyed them, but I thoroughly enjoyed them being a heel. He was one of the best heels, and you wanted to see Slim get smashed up every week. You wanted to see him get punched in the face or something. Do you know what I mean? It could get right under your skin. You know what I mean? You could be not even talking to you, and you're sitting in the living room going, I want to punch that guy. I just want to punch him. And you can't. So he done his job well.
And he's just, and very, very believable. Do you know what I mean? And everything he did, he was in that kind of way. So no, congratulations to him. He fully deserves it. Again, mentioning, you touched Lewis on the Bella twins there, Nikki and Brie Bella. Obviously Brie being a Divas champion, Nikki being, I think, I could be wrong, one of you could correct me, but the longest reigning champion at one point was Nikki Bella. I just kind of how they kind of helped revolutionise the women's division, and how their kind of route. I come in for totals again, just a kind of an open question. Do you think they have a major role then in inspiring women to be better in themselves today?
Silence across the room.
I'll go. I won't lie. I didn't, when Total Bellas was out, I didn't actually mind it. And I think if it's like, and I fucking hate reality TV shows, so if it can get me hooked, then the amount of people that do like reality TV shows that wouldn't like wrestling, like as I said in our speeches last night, or in other speeches, like people talking about them, like there probably are people that like wouldn't have ever dreamed about watching wrestling, but they'll see a reality TV show about these women, they're like, oh, what's this about? And then they see the wrestlers and the struggles that they go through to get through the show and stuff like that. And like then you've got a new audience, and I think that the Bella twins, I mean, they were like again, I'm not proud that I watched it, but they were probably the most like entertaining part of the show, especially the fact that one was going out with John Cena, one was going out with Daniel Bryan. So,
Aye.
but I just like I think they have like not obviously just that. Like I think you've seen the Bella Twins like from when they first came into the WWE to like when they were coming towards the end, like how much better they got. Like just in the ring, even on the mic. Like what was it really? Do you know? I thought Nikki Bella was decent. Not the best, but decent.
There's only one thing worse than a botchy bastard, and that's two botchy bastards. I think you're right. I think they did create exposure. They did create interest. People who otherwise wouldn't have watched wrestling might have watched it for those two. But I think for all the wrong reasons. I think at a time when people like here it goes, Natalia and and Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix walked away from her career because she was sick of brand panties matches and bikini matches and all of that carry on. She had enough self-respect and credibility, and she was trying to push for what we have just now. You know, with people like Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley and folk that you look at as legitimate wrestlers in the ring. I think the Bellas held that up. I think the women's evolution was only possible as their influence subsided. I don't think they added much, you know, in terms of in-ring talent. And I personally found them really, really aggravating. Even if my other half loves Total Divas and Total Bellas, but even if I watched them, I found myself cringing all the time. They added nothing, you know, for me personally. I totally get in terms of monetary value for the product. They had things to add. But in terms of me wanting to watch them, you know, on a wrestling or a sports entertainment programme, I couldn't have been less interested. I'm glad they got their nice wee rings, but I'm more glad that they've got to fuck.
That's shameful.
I couldn't have said it any better, to be honest.
There's somebody.
I'm going to get my fearless
cat. What the hell? What about you? You in agreement with kind of Liam and Ryan, and you think that there maybe no added the impact that a lot of wrestlers seem to think they have?
They're one of the most technically gifted, definitely not. But even with the title run and whatever else, I mean, it doesn't really quite push them there, do you know what I mean? But for the outside stuff, fair enough. If that deserves a Hall of Fame ring, fair enough. I mean, for Stephanie, Vince and Triple H, I think they're going to be happy listening to the money dropping into their accounts, opposed to, you know, giving a toss about whether they were decent wrestlers or not. So they weren't the worst, fair enough. There's probably been worse, but they're definitely one of the top dogs anyway. But, you know, I suppose the exposure was what they wanted, and they created something, and WWE seen that product, so they thought, let's let them roll it.
I think if a great Kelly can get in, I don't think technical ability's got anything to do with it.
I mean, he killed a man, so.
I think if the Bellas looked at my local barmaid, they would never have got in a squared circle. They'd never have been allowed.
I think it made the sense with Great Khali again, like he's not the most talented abilities and stuff like that. But see, I liked a bit when he was talking about how he's kind of influenced other Indian wrestlers and how he's involved in kind of training them and stuff like that. Inspiring those, you know what I mean? He can then make a difference. That sense. Whether it's Hall of Fame worth is kind of another debate. But I thought he was quite. See when he brought out that side where he was flirting with the ladies and all that and dancing and
I quite liked the Great Khali
side to him.
I just waited for the Bellas getting slagged about technical stuff when the Great Khali.
Dead believable, dead realistic, right enough.
Big Punjabi
like
playboy.
Handsome guy like that.
Just shows a scope for anybody.
I think one we can all agree Hall of Fame surely is Rob Van Dam.
Wally Holly.
What a career he had. That as well, aye.
What a guy.
Aye, Rob Van Dam, obviously ECW. Again, just everything he did in the ring, winning Money in the Bank, ladder match. Just a total inspiration. Like the fans just absolutely loved him. I mean, every time he got up on top of a top rope, you were just there with him, I thought, and he just kind of created that kind of belief for me. Don't know, your sales speech was very emotional, but really long as well, wasn't it? Like he just looked as if he was just going to keep talking and talking and talking. But if you've got any kind of favourite moments of Rob Van Dam?
Probably when he won the title, but One Night Stand. Just that crowd and the hatred for fucking John Cena was, I loved it. Just fucking, that's fantastic. The match itself wasn't great, but like to see him finally get a WWE Championship was phenomenal and well deserved as well for like the work he put in just like up until then. And probably another favourite moment is his ladder match with Jericho as well. It was just probably one of the best ladder matches I've seen.
Aye, he was just absolutely phenomenal, and I think as well he spoke about talked about influences like Sabu and Sheik on his career as well, and how much kind of role kind of they played in his character, and I thought that was really as well to see.
I thought he was really respectful, really honest. You know, quite emotional. Everything that I liked about him as a performer. You know, dead kind of genuine and authentic. I know he did talk for a bit, but I felt like I could have listened to him even longer. No, I really enjoyed it. I'd like to see more of him. I'd like to see him, you know, doing some, you know, some other stuff with some sort of promotion. You know, where we got to see some of that authenticity. I think he could add real value to a brand like Impact or AEW. So I hope something comes of this for him, because the nostalgic value of his career was great. I loved watching him, you know, when I was younger. But I also think he's an interesting enough character that he could be doing more than he is just now.
What kind of things do you think then, Lewis, that he could go into do you think, involved in the kind of wrestling business, do you think?
I would like to see him still perform, to be fair, first of all. Just because he can still do it. He really can. Personally, from my early memories from him, it was the whole kind of, I think he spoke about it in the his speech, was the kind of attire. I mean, it was so, you know, unique. It was cool, really cool. Do you know what I mean? It's something you haven't seen before. The kind of style of attire, first of all, it kind of matches his whole kind of aura when it comes to his wrestling style and even just the way he acts. You know what I mean? Just his way he actually talks, straight to the point, no kind of qualms or anything. Do you know what I mean? He will just do it. He will talk to his business in the ring, basically, and that's just that. And I think he's more than capable of still doing it. You could shove him at a WWE, any brand for that matter, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and I think he's capable of just, you know, winning another title very easily. You can shove him in any match and you're going to love it, because he is still, although there's a lot of high flyers about, they're quite similar in ways. He still does unique kind of moves that I don't think anybody really can kind of match still. The kind of copy. I know Shane McMahon does that jump for the turnbuckles to the, you know, the bin and stuff like that and whatever else, but then you've got these other moves that he does that are just so unique. And the thing is, I think he mentioned, one thing I will call him out on is, he said he doesn't think anybody's ever got as high as him when it comes to his frog splash. I think Montez Ford might have.
I was going to say, aye, I think he definitely is. Aye.
Maybe
I'd love to see them.
Are we feared just because of that?
Aye, I would love to see them do this in the ring and just keep doing it. Aye. who can go the highest. I'd love to see him
AEW
in
are great
NXT.
at factions. I'd quite like to see him. I'd quite like to see him maybe lead a faction at AEW, even if he was still performing. You know, where he could be involved with maybe somebody like Penta or Scorpio Sky, or you know, where he could add real value. It's good to see Taz with the big powerhouses, you know, big strong guys like Cage. I'd quite like to see a faction of folk that were talented high flyers being led by somebody like him, who could maybe still add real value inside the ring. You know, it'd be good to see. Tully Blanchard didn't embarrass himself in the ring, but he's no, he's no capturing your interest the same way an RVD might.
I know, I definitely agree. I think we'd be brilliant with that, and I think even as well, like you're talking about NXT, he's going to improve any other wrestler. See any up and coming wrestler, he's going to improve them, even if it's like he's in their advice or anything. So it'd be great to see him in that kind of sort of role as well. But he's some character. Usually, you would love to see him just continue and perform. And there he's there.
Sorry about that. Technical issue.
Greg, I think DX are in a production truck.
That's retribution for you.
We'll just talk about Rob Van Dam and kind of memories about him, and we kind of would still like to see him doing stuff like that. Get any fond memories yourself of Rob Van Dam?
But just like watching his wee highlights package last night, I forgot how much I actually just loved Rob Van Dam when I was like growing up. Just like he just does so. His moveset is just so unique. Like I don't know if, like, obviously I had an issue there. I don't know if you've already spoken about this, but like just his moveset is just so unique. Like just like the Rolling Thunder, like just the Van Daminator, like just the high flying moves that he can do in that 5-star frog splash. It's just like, I think Montez Ford maybe like could maybe be a bit better, but just RVD's 5-star frog splash is just like, it's a thing of beauty. And just like him with Kane as well, when I was watching them together, like and Kane, don't know if he should have or not. I quite liked unmasking when Kane unmasked and it was RVD. Love all that.
Aye, absolutely fantastic. We were actually just, I think somebody, Lewis had mentioned about Montez Ford, and that we'd love to see them, the two of them just stand in a ring and just see who could go the highest, man. I think that'd be brilliant. Just keep going and keep going and keep going. Aye. Honestly, absolutely brilliant. Wow, there's that Liam disappeared.
At least it's not just me. I'm alright with that.
Oh, let's top up, lads.
Aye, so we touched on Rob Van Dam. Have you any use kind of getting other people inducted? I think Liam was desperately talking about Molly.
Kane. We'll wait till Liam's back in, but Kane, come on.
Oh, Kane, man. I was tearing up.
Kane was fantastic.
He didn't even get emotional. He didn't break no tears, nothing.
No.
I love Kane when he was. It's the mask. Kane was definitely the best. I mean, it was just. I still find it a bit mind-boggling. You see like the old clips. Kane back when he's kind of like like netted kind of attire as well. Do you know what I mean? You're kind of looking at him. You're kind of going, "Is that the same guy? Surely there's somebody else playing him because he's fucking huge." And then it's like, I'm not saying he's no big now because he is, but I mean, naturally, obviously, wrestlers sometimes lose a bit of muscle and whatever else. But I was looking at him going, fucking, he must have been played by somebody else, man, because he was like twice the size he is now. And it was just amazing. But even then, you still love him now. And I think he would use any opportunity to whip it on his attire. I dare say he probably had it on his suit for the speech as well, ready to whip it off if he felt the need.
His wee documentary as well, I think, was it him and Undertaker? Just talking about all that and stuff as well. I was well enough at that, man. That was just unbelievable. Just to hear them just chat about everything they've went through together. Just amazing. Like the Brothers of Destruction and stuff, like, honestly. Like things like that, I can't see being beaten for years. Just absolutely amazing.
Growing up, Undertaker and Kane. Well, I mean, it was first like Kane was my first like favorite wrestler like that I've ever seen. Like just everything about him I loved, and then when I seen him bury the Undertaker alive, that broke my heart, and I fell out of love with Kane for a wee bit. But just his whole career, just like the things he's done, like the storylines he's been in, like as I said, like watching like the people who speak about him, and like even his wee speech, I was tearing up. Like even like watching the wee video of the Undertaker, like saying that like that you're being inducted, and like seeing him tear up, that I was like, oh, for God's sake. Just an amazing career, and like that I can think of probably the bit, other than the Undertaker, one of the like most deserved Hall of Fames ever, I'd say.
I thought it was lovely, his speech. You're right, see, when he was saying about lacing up the boots and his brothers and sisters going out there to put a smile on people's faces, and that's what they've done all over the world. I think we take it for granted, that it's sports entertainment. It's not really that important, but see, with nothing much else to do, having a wrestling to look forward to, it does make a difference. And if you're a kid and everything's closed and there's nothing much else to do, I'm saying a kid, if you're an adult, this is giving me things to look forward to. But we take for granted the importance of that type of escapism and the value that it adds. He's certainly done that to me for years, from frightening the shite out of me as I went, to the laughs he's given us when he was, when he was paired up with Daniel Bryan for Team Hell No. I loved all of that stuff. I think the guy's brilliant. We got to see him speak at Access. He was standing in the ring with a microphone for about an hour, captivating an audience with, funny road stories, and and it just seemed like an intelligent, decent human being. I'm glad that he's, still able to add value to his community as the mayor of Knox County. I think planning permission and being able to make a difference in your local community would be an awful lot easier if you're Kane than some wee guy who's been a civil servant for 20 years.
Everything's about him is great, and honestly, he'll be remembered forever. And there's no many kind of storylines, as we were saying, like being in and stuff that MD's done a long time and stuff, and that just kind of says something that's, when he's such a nice guy. Like he's obviously you see him when he was the master in the ring. He was actually seeing him just in an interview. He's like, it's weird. It's like two different people, or they get most.
I remember watching the Francesco Totti documentary, and it was so full of ego and believed that he was godlike, and it was ridiculous, and you fell out of love with him. But Kane was able to stand there and say that him and the Undertaker storyline was the best that the WWE's ever produced, and he's right. It was believable. It was fascinating. You couldn't wait, for the next week. Raw to find out what was happening. It was great. He's had a remarkable career, and to see him so full of humility and being dead gracious and thanking everybody who believed in him, I just thought everything about his speech was absolutely perfect. It's well deserved. He's earned the plaudits that he's got, but seeing him giving everybody else kudos for helping him on his journey, was lovely.
Aye, definitely, totally agree. Lewis wanted Molly Holly here. Liam, who's that? Oh no, we need Molly Holly for Liam.
Do you know, I loved Molly Holly when I was a wee guy, but there's a cracking bit of original programming on the network that tracks Beth Phoenix's career. And I didn't know that Beth Phoenix, when she was first starting out, had no money and she was struggling, and she'd waited in line for hours to meet Molly Holly and give her her audition tape, and she was struggling to afford staying down at the what was the previous version of the performance centre. And Molly Holly, because she was earning good money as a professional, paid paid her way, paid her fees, and she was able to do that. And she owes her career to Molly Holly. She's another one who came in initially as hardcore and developed her career. Lots of different personalities, lots of different characters, and then ended up playing, a kind of comedy sidekick with the Hurricane, which was also a well worth a watch. But it seems to me that there must be an awful lot of these, beautiful goodwill stories with people just being decent human beings off camera without looking for any credit. And I'm glad she got the recognition in the Hall of Fame. Our opening gambit, about two people, one of them changing the face of the wrestling industry for the best, and meaning herself rather than Vince McMahon. I thought it was a really funny opener, and I'm glad she still had a bit of tongue-in-cheek humour when she was accepting her award. All in all, well deserved.
I was quite emotional watching her speech as well. I think just actually seeing current stars and stuff, see how much an influence that she's had on the stuff. It was quite touching actually to see how, as you say, somebody just been dead nice and stuff. Actually, just kindness and decent human being.
See, you don't give up, Greg. Keep going, son.
I think as you keep going. That's what I tell myself every day. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can be better tomorrow. I can be better 5 minutes.
People remember the good guys. You keep it up.
I don't know about me being a good guy, but you can. But that is the kind of talking about Hall of Famers but I think kind of people would say, they're all deserving, but kind of had a bit more kind of interesting careers, more kind of inspiring to people. To then tonight of NXT Stand and Deliver, night 1, the 2 nights I actually had to check it. Who on night 1 and night 2? Totally forgot, man. That's something new. But no, the matches itself. We'll start with. I think we kind of touched on predictions for who we think might win. We'll start with Ciampa and Walter. What I found interesting, actually, I only seen the other day, is that Walter's due to defend his title on Namora as well. I think is at NXT Prelude. I think. That could be interesting. Was that just assuming that he's going to win against Ciampa tonight then, or is Ciampa going to steal the glory? Do you think, Michael, this is the end of Walt's long reign?
I'd say so. I mean, it's quite a long time he's held the title, and I think Tommaso Ciampa is just he's an incredible talent, and I think he definitely deserves it. Sorry to not go too much in depth. I am a bit in my depth of that one.
I'll be livid.
Oh no, I'm really just looking.
I've not got a clue. Hopefully Repo Man will come down and give a wee clothesline, and I don't know, something magical will happen.
Papa Shango appears.
The Godfather with a whole train distraction.
Champ is many grey hairs.
If you want to live long enough to see grey hairs, you better be careful, pal.
So I think it's Ciampa's night, Liam, as well. You think he's got what it takes?
I would like to see it. I wouldn't like to see him being diverted to NXT UK. I'd like to see him going to one of the main brands. I think he's earned it. No, he's in cracking condition. He's a fascinating performer. Can sell any story. I would like to see nothing but success for the guy. Walter's a big beast, so who knows? Eventually, somewhere down the line, I'd like to see Walter fighting guys like, you know, Bobby Lashley and Keith Lee and, you know, big powerhouses, Braun Strowman, folk like that. I think he could, you know, he could handle his own with some of them already. But I'd like to see Ciampa. I'd like to see him win.
Do you think, Lewis, the rest of Imperium are going to have an impact on the match? Two of them are just going to go with it? Or?
Well, I've seen past episodes of NXT, haven't we, where they've kind of been trying to get into Thatcher's head, obviously, trying to kind of remind him where he's came from, sort of thing. Try to obviously bring him back into the fold, but obviously I think Ciampa wasn't having any, obviously, so it kind of, you can't count it out, I would say. So there is a chance, and we know WWE's renowned for having interferences, so because it could be an absolute smash of a match where you don't really know who you want to win at one point. I know we could probably call predictions now and we can go all we like, this person there, but the match could be that good that you could actually start to go, well, hang on here, I could take either one of them to win, and you maybe don't want to make that choice, so maybe Imperium will make that choice for us.
I think that's the beauty of NXT, Ryan. You're made to believe it could be 50-50, and that's what you normally think. An obvious winner.
Oh God, I mean, it's a toss-up in NXT. Which way any could happen. I'm obviously rooting for Ciampa. I've got me Ciampa shirt on, all prepared.
Yes.
But I think if I'm like gone by just like my brain, he's fighting Rampage Brown at NXT UK prelude, and he's been built up as kind of the next big star in NXT UK. So I can probably see Walter winning, and then losing to Rampage Brown, and then possibly coming back to normal NXT, and maybe starting a feud with Karrion Kross. I think that'd be fucking phenomenal.
Aye, brilliant. Aye, I don't even get that line, but no, that'd be brilliant. Ian Logan for another match. Kind of later announced Pete Dunne. Two brawlers, I know, like gifted athletes. For me, I would love to see Kushida win. I just think he's been over the last while. They've really pushed on. That's Kushida, but I don't know. Something's telling me that Pete Dunne, but I pray it's Kushida. What's your prediction? Pete Dunne, Kushida?
When I was 15, I used to get off of a bird and gov and it looked like Pete Dunne, so he's made it fear. I find it really difficult to get behind him in any storyline. It triggers me. Bad memories, so anybody but Pete Dunne for me, any day of the week.
Oh, God.
I'm really going to kill him off this.
He's a Peaky Blinder. Do you know what I mean? He's like a.
He's got womanly legs, though, hasn't he? You've got to say. Built guy, but he's got womanly legs.
That's a fucking great description. Guy's a monster, but he's got womanly legs.
Total mismatch.
Oh.
Who knows what happened in that gym pool?
Certainly, it'll be a great match. I think between the two, there's no a lot in it. Aye, I really hope Kushida does it because I think it's his to get a push on that one. We all know that Lewis wants his own veterans to win the big titles, so.
Not a chance, mate. Not a chance in hell. It's MSK all day long. The grizzled young veterans can piss off and retire. That's what they can do.
Is everybody want MSK to win, or is it?
I'm watching you, isn't it?
Pretty much, aye.
That's fine, that's fine.
Aye.
Love him.
Text me now, fucking better say aye, man. Better say aye.
How do you know? I got massive setup.
I'm just kind of in for quick predictions because I think we kind of spoke about the matches in the last kind of pod, didn't we? So just kind of go. So MSK, that means Tasma. I'll win. You've ruled out Grizzled Young Vet.
Maybe. You're going to go for the opposite one then, Greg. We're all MSK.
The gauntlet Aye, I'll go for Grizzled Young Veterans because of the famous Liverpool and famous hero for Liverpool. It's the city of Glasgow.
Shocking behaviour.
It's got to be a new match added to this NXT card. I don't think it's going to be an actual show. It's going to be this live stream. I can sense it.
I've got a big belly putting a line arm up for it.
He'd put the screen.
He'd put the screen.
The gauntlet eliminator, I think we spoke about. We'll just saying I get everybody's prediction very again, kind of wide open match. But I think for me, it's got to be Dexter Lumis that hooks up the win, gauntlet eliminator, and then I hope he goes and beats Gargano.
See if that big speed bastard didn't win. Combination. Fucking, I love him. Fucking needs to win.
Should have seen him in the live streams all the time. Honestly, he didn't blink. I literally put it in the chat. I was like, this guy does not blink. He doesn't blink. And he was like, I was just looking at the camera like this, and I'm like, how's this guy not blinking? I've probably blinked about 100 times now. And this guy's just still not blinking. I'm like, what's going on? And then they're trying to ask him questions, and he's just staring. I'm like, I would have laughed or something. There's no way. The whole stream was about an hour long, and no one said a word, or laughed, or blinked. But he did it.
Blunk.
I know you want Grimes to win, Liam.
Oh, God.
Of course. Aye, my absolute favourite. Next.
Yeah, how dare you? This was it's shocking. But no,
it was
right,
quality Instagram live though.
Next. Aye, it was brilliant. And then that kind of brings us to the main event. Two women, Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai. This match, for me, will be the best match of the night. I think absolutely steal the show. Aye, it's just going to be an absolute. My heart
Not
again.
sure I'm that confident about it, Greg. You said the Nia Jax match had the ability to steal a WrestleMania. May face in your mad steal a show predictions. You wait, you watch this back, son. That's what you said about an hour ago. Nia Jax might steal a show. Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, she's on that course.
I didn't ring ability. Comedy brings everything. Do you know what I mean? What more can you ask for?
Nia? Are you still talking about Nia? A in-ring ability? There's a lot of places I could go there.
Do you mind that show in Glasgow? The two wee boys like, fatty, and Nia Jax. The other wee boy like, aye, but she's fit as fuck.
Aye. That was before she hurt her hole.
But my comment, that's my job is. My comments are to kind of get you to react. Remember, answer say an hour later.
I'll never forget it. Never. Nia Jax might steal a show at WrestleMania. Absolute waste of time, this podcast. I'm giving you a hard time. I think in the context of NXT, what you're saying is bang on. I think Shirai and Gonzalez is probably what I'm looking forward to the most over the 2 nights. Again, a difficult one to call. You could see both storylines being believable. You know, Shirai, you could hold on to it. She's solid. She's dependable. But again, we've spoke a couple of times about the heart and the head, and you know what you feel being different to what you think might happen. And my heart wants Gonzalez to win. You know, I hope she takes it.
Anybody else want Gonzalez? I know I want Shirai, but
I think it's destined, isn't it? It's destined. Raquel Gonzalez is going to win it. Has to be.
Aye, it's like it's the storyline the way they built her up. I just think it's kind of, especially being main event. Just think it's kind of destined just to crown a new champion, especially at night 1, at least.
I'm more concerned about the future for Greg because between Blackheart and Shirai and Oscar, I can see him a 50-year-old man ordering a Thai bride. Sitting lonely with a wee wife that you've paid for, son. My heart's broken for you.
I find somebody like me. Do you know what I mean? If it works.
As long as you're happy.
That's exactly it.
Forcing her to do a
Definitely.
hoovering on a wee tank.
Blackheart. Tank's got to come in. Something I'm telling you, Black, the top of the year. That's a prediction for the podcast. She'll be at the top. She'll roost. Never mind your Bianca Belairs and your Natalias and all the rest of them.
Careful.
But no, I think that kind of covers it nearly there. I think it's about 50 minutes or something till NXT Stand and Deliver starts. It's going to be great. I can't wait. 2 nights. Building up to WrestleMania. I mean, this week, some fans is like kids on Christmas Eve. It's brilliant. I honestly can't beat it. Yeah, I mean, see you. But no, that kind of covers all bases. It's been a great podcast, another great laugh. Fourth live stream of Scotslam. I've been enjoying the content. It's just 4 or 5 wrestling fans enjoying themselves, having a bit of banter, talking everything about wrestling. So, no, folks, I hope you all stay safe. Hope you all stay safe, stay well, enjoy the rest of the Mania week, and peace out, troops.
Catch you afterwards.
Adios.